For as long as I can remember, I've been a Godzilla fan. I pretty much grew up with Star Wars, Batman, and Godzilla, so it's strange that I haven't bought any Godzilla figures since I was a small child. But that finally changed today. A few years ago, I started watching and instantly fell in love with Neon Genesis Evangelion and its creator, Hideaki Anno. So when it was announced that he would be directing the first real Godzilla movie in over 10 years, I was obviously pretty excited. To get straight to the point, I loved Shin Godzilla more than I think is legally allowed, so I've been eagerly awaiting the right time to pick up a figure of the Shin Godzilla design. More accurately, I've been looking forward to picking up the SH Monsterarts figure, but that's obviously not the figure I have right here. Since Bandai decided not to release the figure overseas, I have to settle with the NECA version. I may have encountered an issue in this review. His tail is too long. He's just gonna knock over...
No survivors!
So this is why NECA is the best when it comes to sculpting at this lower price point. This figure looks incredible, like it just jumped off the screen. The Shin Godzilla design is represented very well. Every scar and exposed muscle looks amazing, and is painted very well. The red around the dorsal fin looks a little too bright, but I think that's just a problem with the design overall. And now we have the tail. Oh boy, the tail. This thing is huge. The tail was also a huge pain to connect to the rest of the figure. Even though I finally managed to do it, the tail seems a little loose, like it could fall off at any time. The tail is in segments, so it can articulate properly, so it looks a bit messy. The articulation is pretty hit and miss on this guy. His neck can move all the way around, but can't really move left and right. His mouth opens up very wide, which manages to not compromise the look of the figure.
Hello, I am Godzilla. My head looks like a hamburger in some pictures.
His right arm moves freely all the way around, as does his hand. However, his left arm doesn't want to move at all. Luckily, Godzilla doesn't really move his arms that much in the movie, so displaying him like this is perfectly fine. His legs move way better than they have any right to, seeing as he's got huge birth and hips, and like his arms, he doesn't really move his legs much during the movie. Both feet sit flat on the floor very well, which can be an issue for some figures like this, which causes them to lean to one side. This figure is obviously very smaller than I thought he would be. Here he is next to animated Batman, SH Figuarts Obi-Wan, and variable action heroes Zoro. He's a bit smaller than other NECA figures, but I'm actually glad he's on the smaller side. Oh yeah, and the tail is larger than most figures. Best part is that the tail is actually inaccurate because it should be longer. Overall, this figure is pretty great. He looks great, he has a great shelf presence, and articulates well enough. I was initially bummed out that I was probably never going to get my hands on the SH Monsterarts version, but honestly, this is a worthy substitution. I would be totally on board if NECA wanted to release figures of his other forms. Even if they recolored this figure from red to purple for his atomic breath, I would pick that up. So if you're a Godzilla fan, a fan of NECA products, or even just a fan of Evangelion, pick this figure up. You probably won't regret it. Hello everybody, thank you for watching this video review of an action figure. I would like to point out that I have a Instagram account that I post on somewhat frequently. It's usually just pictures of action figures, which makes sense because this is an action figure channel. I would just put it in the video and I would say, hey, here is the Instagram account, click the annotation on the screen, but YouTube got rid of annotations, so I'm just gonna put it in the description. Check it out if you want to, or don't. Anyways, see you next time.